Let's do Brahmanad. Om. Om. Shanti. 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 Swastha. Dear student, now I will discuss about a new chapter, principle and process of isolation of elements. Depending upon the reactivity, metal occur in nature in two states. Number one is your free state. It is also called negative state. Number two is your combined state. The metal which have less reactivity or the metal which have no tendency to react with the other element, such type of metal generally occur in nature in free state. On the other hand, the metal which having more reactivity towards other element, such type of metal generally occur in nature in the combined state. The metal which having more reactivity generally react with the air, oxygen, carbon dioxide and other non-metal. Such type of metal generally found in oxide form, carbonate form, like that. The examples of the metal which are generally found in free state are platinum, gold, silver, etc. The metal which are generally found only in combined state are sodium, potassium, magnesium, etc. Some of the metal also occur in nature in both the state, that is free state and combined state. The example of such type of metal are copper, zinc. Such type of metal generally found in both the state, that is free state and combined state. Next I will explain about the minerals and ores. The natural substance in which the metal occur either in free state or in combined state are called minerals. Remember, all the minerals are not used for the extraction of metal. Next point is the mineral from which the metal can be economically and conveniently extracted are called ore. For example, bauxite. Bauxite is an ore of aluminium, but remember, clay is not said to be the ore of aluminium, because aluminium can be economically and conveniently extracted from bauxite, but aluminium cannot be economically and conveniently extracted from clay. That's why both bauxite and clay are considered as mineral, but among two minerals, only bauxite is called the ore of aluminium. This is the difference between ore and mineral. Remember an important point, all minerals metals are not considered as ore, but all ore are said to be mineral. These are the ores of different metal. There are many ores of different metal. It is bound to remember the list of ores of different metal. Next I will discuss about the metallurgy. The process of extraction of metal from its ore is called metallurgy. The extraction of metal completed in the following steps. Number 1 is your crushing and grinding. Number 2 is concentration of ores. Number 3 is extraction of metals. Number 4 is refining of crude metal. At first I will discuss about the crushing and grinding of ores. Generally, the ores are present in the nature as a huge looms. They are broken into small pieces by the help of grinder or crusher. Now the small pieces are converted into fine powder by the help of stamp mill. This process is called pulverization. Next I will explain about the concentration of ores. The removal of unwanted impurities from the ore is called concentration of ores. The concentration of ores done by different method depending upon the nature of the impurities. Such methods are: number 1 is hand picking, number 2 is gravity separation method, number 3 is magnetic separation, number 4 is electrostatic concentration, number 5 is fourth rotation, number 6 is leeching method, number 7 is liquefaction method. These are the methods which are used for the concentration of ore depending upon the nature of the impurities. At first I will discuss about the hand picking method. In this method the ores are concentrated by picking through the hand. The ore is separated from the main stocks in a sufficient degree of purity by simple picking it by hand metal with a hammer. This is your hand picking method. Next method is gravity separation method. It is also called levitation. This method generally based upon the gravitational force. This method generally used when the ore is heavier than the impurities. This method is generally used for the concentration of ore like oxides such as hematite, tinstone and native ore of gold, silver, etc. This method commonly used on small scale. Two commonly used gravity separation method are: number one is your fulfilling washing table, number two is your hydraulic classifier. At first I will discuss about the Wolfili washing table. Wolfili washing table is a long wooden table in which long strips are attached. These long strips are called rifles or cleats. The long wooden table having slanty floor in which the cleats are attached. Next I will explain about the hydraulic classifier. The hydraulic classifier consists of a large conical reservoir which is fitted with an ore inlet at the top of the conical reservoir. On the other end, at the bottom of the conical reservoir, a water inlet is fitted. Wolfili washing table is generally used for the concentration of native gold ore, while hydraulic classifier generally used for the concentration of ore of iron, chromium, etc. This is all about the gravity separation method. Next I will explain about the other method for concentration of ore is magnetic separation. In this method, the ore and impurities are separated by magnetic behavior. In this method, two rollers are taken like this. The two rollers are connected with each other by a belt like this. Among the two rollers, one of the rollers having magnetic behavior. Now the ore is dropped over the belt, then the ore goes like this. The impurities parts having magnetic behavior, so it is attracted by the magnetic roller. That's why the ores are collected here. On the other hand, the impurities are collected here. As a result, we can able to separate the impurities and the ore. This is called magnetic separation. Some examples of concentration of ore by magnetic separation are concentration of tin stone containing the magnetic impurities like ferrous, tungstate, having formula FeWO4. Next example is your concentration of hematite, magnetite, pyrolusite, ilmenite. These are the examples of concentration of different ores by magnetic separation. This is all about the magnetic separation. Next method for concentration of ore is electrostatic concentration. In this method, the metallic materials are separated from non-metallic material. Example is concentration of lead sulfide and zinc sulfide. The principle of electrostatic concentration is when an electric field is applied, then the particles which are good conductor of electricity become electrically charged and consequently repelled by the electrode having same charge and are thrown away. We know that in electrolysis there are two electrodes are present. One is your anode, another is your cathode. Cathode repelled to the anion. On the other hand, anode repelled to the cation. The electrostatic concentration based upon this principle. Next method for concentration of ore is fourth flotation. This method generally based upon the surface chemistry of the particles. This method is generally applied to such type of ore in which the ores are dissolved in the oil. On the other hand, the impurities are dissolved in the water. This is the diagrammatical representation for fourth flotation. In this method, ore, water and pine oil are taken in a tank and these are agitated by compressed air. This is the diagrammatical representation for fourth flotation. In this method, ore, water and pine oil are taken in a tank and these are agitated by compressed air. That's why pores are formed and the ore particles are dissolved in the pine oil while the impurities are dissolved in the water. The lighter ore particles floats over the pore and collected in another tank. On the other hand, the impurities are settled on the bottom of this tank. Examples are concentration of sulfide ore like copper, pyrite, copper, glans, galena, zinc, blend, etc. Next method for concentration of ore is leaching method. This is a chemical method. In this method, the powder ore is treated with a certain chemical in which the ore particles are soluble while the impurities particles are insoluble. Example, concentration of bauxite ore which contain impurities like Fe2O3. At first the bauxite is treated with the sodium hydroxide, then sodium metaaluminate and water are formed. Now the sodium metaaluminate is subjected to reaction with the water to form aluminium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide. Again, when the aluminium hydroxide subjected to heating, then Al2O3 is formed. Also here water molecule is formed. This is said to be alumina. This bauxite contains impurities. On the other hand, this alumina do not contain any impurities. This is all about the leaching method. Next method for concentration of ore is liquefaction. This method is generally used for the concentration of ore which having low melting point than the impurities. In this method, the powdered ore is heated on a sloping floor of the furnace. The temperature is raised just above the melting point of the ore. The ore melts and flows down the floor while the infusible impurities left behind. This is the process of liquefaction. Example is concentration of ore of antimony. These are the different methods for the concentration of ore.